I'm gonna call the Toledo Planning Commission May 13th meeting to order. We'll start with roll call. You want to start with Brian down there?
Brian Lundgren here.
Jonathan Mitchell.
Ann Ellis here.
Cora Warfield here.
Ricky Dyson here. Dennis Sutherland here.
Okay, do we have any visitors?
I have online visitors. If anyone wants to speak, go ahead and raise your hand electronically. I don't have any hands raised.
Okay. Okay, so we'll move on to approval of the April 8th minutes.
Oh, I'll move in that direction.
Okay, anybody want to second that?
I'd second it.
Okay, it's been moved by Ricky and seconded by Ann. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, those have been approved. Next thing we have on the agenda is work session and the Parks Master Plan project. And I'll turn that over to a Justin. One of them.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Justin Epiaka, Assistant Planner, Oregon Cascades West Council of Governments. I'm working on the Parks and Recreation Master Plan for the city. And right now I have the privilege to share with you.
Please.
Come again?
I'm sorry, Ricky was just requesting to speak up a little bit more. He's having a little trouble hearing tonight.
Okay.
Move on.
So I was saying,
That's better.
this evening I have the opportunity to share with you what we're working on so far. So we're going to go through the contents of the plan and overview of the chapters. So I'll just share my screen. Oh, okay. Yeah. Is that visible to everyone?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to go over the master plan section by section. The goal is to give a picture of the organization of the plan and what each section will contain. And we're hoping for feedback before we go back and continue writing. So I'll be sharing how the plan is organized, what each section contains, and where the Planning Commission can give us more input. So we are following a standard Parks Master Plan structure that moves from context of the city of Toledo. Then we analyze the current situation and then engagement, which we have done and are still doing with the public and with the Planning Commission. And then there's a set of goals that some we got from the comprehensive plan, others from the statewide comprehensive outdoor recreation plan that we'll have to put into the plan. And then staff and the Planning Commission will come up with recommendations and an implementation strategy. So this is just the structure of the document. It has an executive summary, an introduction, the community context, the process of the plan, existing system inventory, community engagement findings, and needs assessment, goals and recommendations, implementation plan, and then the appendix that has the survey instruments, the results, maps, summaries from some of the meetings we've held. So I'll start with the executive summary. It's just a plain language summary of the plan. It gives key findings of the inventory, the survey, the analysis about the whole park system. Then there's a section for the system at a glance. It's just a couple of figures, miles, the level of service, and then top recommendations. So a lot of the residents, when residents, stakeholders, and other interested parties, under normal circumstances, won't usually read a whole plan. So they'll just go through the executive summary. So that's what mostly this section will be about, just giving an overview of what the plan is about. Then we have the introduction, and we'll talk about the purpose of the plan, which is developing and maintaining Toledo's parks, trails, and facilities. Then the scope and planning horizon. So in there, we'll see the city limits, the urban growth boundary, time horizon for the plan. Then we'll talk about how the Parks Master Plan is related to the comprehensive plan, the capital improvement plan, and the statewide comprehensive outdoor recreation plan. And then we'll also provide guidance in the plan on how to use it for staff, elected officials, partners, and the public. And then a roadmap for reading the overall plan. So this is an overview of what the introduction will entail. Next, I'll go into a section on community context. So this will describe the demographic, geographic, and growth conditions that shape the demand for parks and recreation in Toledo. So we'll talk about the planning area, a bit of the history of Toledo. We'll have some maps in there about the plan for the planning area. And then population trends, age distribution, household composition, and several other factors that influence how residents use the park system. And we'll talk a bit about growth and development patterns and the geography and natural resources that are in the city. Then the next section will be about the planning process, really short, just talking about the steps we've taken from scoping out the project to the end. So Cascades West Council of Governments led the process in partnership with city staff and the commission and city council. So the planning commission has been like our whole consultant, or well, not consultant, but direct stakeholder in the planning process. And then we'll talk about the project timeline from initiation all the way to findings, analysis, recommendation, and adoption. Then methods of engagement, how we engage the community, the survey, these work sessions that we're having, coordination with public works and different other providers. And then this is what I was looking for, steering committee. The planning commission has been a steering committee throughout this process, and that's why we are reporting back even now. So next we'll have a section for existing system inventory. We'll classify the park system in the city. We'll have each park by name, classification, how many acres, its address, who owns it, what amenities are there. And then we'll also have the park system map. The inventory will be part of the appendix. And we'll have a description of the available recreation facilities and amenities, existing trails. There'll be a map that has future trails also, and a section for programming, library programs, aquatic programming through the pool district, and an assessment of the current conditions of the map. That's section 4. And section 5 will be a summary of what the survey said, and different input that we have had through these meetings as we have gone through the planning process. So themes from these work sessions, the open house that we had, we plan on doing some more outreach in the summer at the
Summerfest.
market, the farmers market, I think it is. Then we'll also include input from the planning commission, city council, and just give overall themes of the discussions that we've been having as we've been going through the planning process. Then section 6 will be a needs assessment. So we'll translate the inventory and engagement findings into a clear picture of where the system is and where gaps exist. So we'll do a level of service analysis comparing current parkland, playground, sports fields, and different other facilities, benchmark them against standards and then projected needs. And then we'll also put key issues into the plan, like the infrastructure, the maintenance, barriers, and gaps in different areas. And then we'll highlight opportunities for growth and development of the park system in the needs assessment section. And then section 7 is for goals and recommendations. So these will set the direction for the plan. We have to come up with a vision statement. And then these are the goals that we have so far that were picked from the comprehensive plan, and then an extra one from the statewide comprehensive outdoor recreation plan. So each of these goals is supported by policies that will guide day-to-day decisions for parks and recreation planning. So I'll just go over the goals quickly. Planning, design, and maintenance. So provide and maintain a diversified system of safe, attractive, and functional parks. Then parks and recreation programs. Promote parks, programs, and events as part of Toledo's livability and identity. Then connectivity. Create a citywide network linking parks, neighborhoods, schools, and the waterfront. And then this we got from the comprehensive outdoor recreation plan and added it in there. Protect and enhance natural resources, scenic areas, waterfronts, and open spaces. And then goal 5 is funding and implementation. So facilitate funding for acquisition, development, maintenance, and stewardship. So section 7, after goals, is recommendations and an action plan still. So this will have the vision statement that we have to come up with, and then the 5 goals that I mentioned, and then we'll have to come up with specific actions linked to each goal and clearly name the responsible parties, the timelines, and the priority levels, as well as estimated costs. And then we have to align that with statewide guidance with the scope. So the goals, I noted that the goals and policies are the heart of the adopted plan. So here is where our feedback is going to make sure that the plan reflects the priorities and is workable for the Parks and Recreation Department or Public Works to implement. Then finally, we'll have the implementation strategy. So we're working to develop capital improvement priorities, and then we'll organize the projects into short term. So that's 1 to 3 years, mid term, 4 to 7 years, and then long term. That's 8 to 10-year phases with costs and likely funding sources. And then we'll look at different funding opportunities and partnerships. I listed out some potential ones out here for this presentation, but there is more to explore. Then operation and maintenance, staffing, deferred maintenance, and then equity and access. Then finally in the plan, we'll have the appendix. We'll put there the community survey itself, the questions that we asked residents, then a detailed survey results. We'll have the park inventory sheets, and we'll have the system map, trails map, access maps, and various other supporting maps that we will discover as we continue drafting the plan. And we'll have meeting summaries from meetings like this one, where we'll summarize themes and outputs that helped direct the planning. Then we'll have definitions of planning terms used in the documents, as well as things like abbreviations, data sources, and the standards that we reference. So moving forward, would like to get input from the Planning Commission on whether this structure makes the plan easy to navigate for residents and decision makers, whether there's anything missing that we have to add. And then we also want to find out if these 5 goals reflect the right priorities for the city, and whether the policies under each goal should be added, refined, or removed. And then when we come up with recommendations, we'll have to come back to this meeting again and find out whether the recommendations align with what we're hearing from residents and what should be elevated or de-emphasized. And then we touched a bit of this the last time we met, but some short, mid, and long-term phases that are realistic for the city and what partnerships should be highlighted. So I'd like to open the floor now to any feedback, especially on the structure and organization of the plan and the goals and policies. Thank you.
I have a question. It's under the section 8 of your implementation policy. And when I looked at this before, under the equity and access, geographic, demographic, and programmatic equity, EA compliance, which I understand, but what does the targeted outreach to underrepresented residents, what would classify underrepresented?
So in general terms, underrepresented is populations that over years or out of normal, like populations whose voice is not heard, so minorities in society. So we'll look at things like when we look at the population, let's say what ethnicity is listed in the city of Toledo, and do we have people that are in the minority group, and are we serving their needs, or do they have access, or are their voices heard? So those are underrepresented residents, and they could, like, these differ when it comes, like, they differ across cities, across regions. So understanding who they are in Toledo and then answering that question.
Okay.
When I read that, I kind of also thought it was like neighborhoods that, you know, were further away from parks and you know, that sort of
Well, that's what
More
I was
densely,
wondering,
yeah.
you know, like I said, I understand the
Yeah.
ADA and you wanna make sure that
Yeah,
everyone who wants access to a park can get to the park or into the park.
right, and kind
But
of,
I
yeah.
was wondering about, the underrepresented because, you know, we don't have a lot of, we have some, but I mean, I wasn't even thinking racial, I guess,
Yeah.
on that. I was thinking of,
So when it comes to neighborhoods that might not have direct park access, that's when we look at level of service standards and then factor them in from that line. So when we go to level of service standards, we'll talk about things like how many, like we can set a standard of, let's say, every neighborhood should be a 10-minute walk away from a park. So that's how we factor in those neighborhoods when we're doing the level of service standards.
Which maybe this might be a good point, because that was one of the things I circled, was a 10-minute walk, because depending on who you are, and there was a thing that, an average, 4 to 5 miles per is kind of average. So you're looking at possibly, depending on who the person is, anywhere from like 7.5 perhaps to 10 miles. Depending on how fast they can walk at 10 minutes. So my thought was almost to put in like, instead of just 10 minutes, to put in like average 10-minute walk, something to kind of qualify that.
You'd be clear through Toledo by then.
Huh?
You'd be clear through Toledo by then.
It depends on how fast you walk, doesn't it? And if you're going up a hill or down a hill.
yeah.
But you can't even access all the parks in Toledo because some of the sidewalks are blocked.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it was just something that stuck out to
Right,
me.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
The sidewalk situation was one.
yeah, and that's why I was thinking when you come into
There's
unrepresented.
lots of places in Toledo with no sidewalk.
Yeah, and then the feasibility of putting them
And
in,
the sidewalks we have are blocked,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
we
Some
need
of them are.
we need to even fix that before we can even worry about this next step.
Yeah,
So-
well, anyways, average walk. And then the only other input I had was the fact that maintenance and development and maintenance, if you could, if the wording maintenance could come possibly before development as much as possible, so that we are focusing on maintaining what we have, that, prior to developing. And it is mentioned in here many times, but it's just for us. That's the only input. There were questions I had on this that I'd look at the next page and those questions would be answered. So for me, this looks good. If those were the only things I had, were the 10-minute and maintenance.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I guess a question for the planning commission too. There was a link in the packet to that Justin did a good job with the presentation, but he's also worked on the actual document, and that was linked. I don't know if any planning commission members had a chance to take a look, because there is some narrative that's been started that Justin's been working on. But if not, that before the next meeting in June, that would be something to take a look at, as Justin's starting to fill in these chapter sections.
Thank you.
Where was the-
Right here. It's on your agenda.
Yeah, it's just
Under that work session area, there's a hyperlink there.
Okay.
Yeah.
see if my computer hooks up, otherwise I'll be down here reading it.
Okay, is there anything else on that, or did anybody else have any other comments or questions on the presentation here?
Well, I do. Before we move forward on this, I know we put out that questionnaire and stuff, and that was a good start. But before we really start jumping into that, I think there's some other stuff that we probably should be looking at before we start moving forward with this. That needs to be addressed before we, I mean, if we're going to be pulling money for grants and things like this, we should probably be trying to pull money for grants or what have you for taking care of some of the problems we already have at hand.
I know you're talking about with the parks.
Well, like even the access to the parks.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can build something really beautiful, but if nobody can get to it, what's the purpose? I can name numerous, I mean, my family's, I'm like 6 generations here. And I can sit here all night and point out places that it's not, can't get to, especially if you're handicapped or elderly or, you know, that you can't access these places. So you can beautify them all you want, but it's not for everybody because a lot of people can't get to them. So you can paint it with $100 bills, it ain't gonna matter.
When I look at page at the top recommendation, I guess it depends on how you interpret it, but I see the reinvestment in existing parks. So to me, that reinvestment would be maintenance.
At the parks.
Of the parks, yeah. Trail accessibility, so accessibility, that would be, you know, whether or not they're gonna be able to weave that in, but to shoot it all down immediately, I think is, you know,
These problems.
I mean, there's
there's
lots of other places that are asking for grants, I understand that. But we can't move forward with anything until we have, you know, a package that, and a lot of work has already been put into it. So.
I know, I mean, it's just, you can build a barn, but if your cattle can't get to it, there's no need to.
Well, does the survey still need to be done of all the parks and trails, or has a survey already been completed to where you know kind of what some of your focus points are on each park or each trail as well?
So the survey that we did gave us good direction, but at this point, a lot of the feedback that we want now is targeted. So like this feedback is good, it focuses on access. So the initial survey was wide, and we sort of have like a good understanding of priorities and needs. So moving forward, most of the input that we're trying to solicit like from the booth that we intend to host at the farmers market is going to be targeted feedback. That's direct like feedback like this when it comes to access or accessibility of these parks. So yeah.
Well, and I think maybe the direction I was heading on that a little bit was somebody actually looking at the parks, like each park, and maybe writing down what it looks like is visually needed, you know, for just to know what maybe the extent of some of the work initially would be.
Yeah, so we did that with some public works stuff.
Right, but
Like our speed humps, that's kind of involved with this, because like around some of our parks, the speed humps would be fabulous around them areas, like on A Street. Speed humps would be perfect. We were in the process of working on getting them. That would go hand in hand with some of our master plan here. So that would be perfect time to have that stuff implemented. So, you know, I mean, I'm not trying to be a bearer of bad news, but you know, all this stuff could fall together at one time, or try to, you know, if we can get some of that stuff in first before we can do some of this other stuff. So that we don't have a catastrophe before we. get it
So
all
would
done
you
up.
suggest doing one park at a time then?
No, I would like, if we could do like, say, speed humps and then, take care of some of the sidewalks or access to
So
get
you
some
want
of
the
that.
transportation plan to be implemented before?
Yeah, just a little bit, a little bit,
Okay.
good stuff before we, no need to put out good bird feed and have 4 or 5 cats waiting.
Yeah.
So better get rid of cats before you put the bird feed out.
What about a safety aspect? Kind of like what you're saying, is
Yeah.
like have signage and
Yeah,
speed bumps or whatever.
sure.
Kind of blend them together.
Yeah, but even like going toward your house by like Mary Harrison, you know where that yard slid out? That yard, if you look back in time, back in the late 70s, when there was a guy that was robbing graves, the native guys went there. You can see it in the old news clippings even, and even it's out on TV. That yard where the old rocks are, it's still that way, clear back in the 70s. And I asked our city attorney at one time, what do you plan on doing with that? He's like, well, we're afraid the ground might move, and if we touch that, the house might move or something. That's been that way clear back in the late 70s. Because, you know, the natives from Sleds went there and dragged the guy out of the house and, you know, for robbing graves. Well, right there's the picture of the house and the yard. And the rocks are still kind of cobbled together. Not all of it was, and people's always added rocks over time. But that yard's fell there, you know, that it's just holds up, the whole city block there is all held up by rocks. But it will burn almost all the way. It's been falling down for, well, that's clear back in the 70s. And, you know, I mean, I went to first and second grade in Mary Harrison. And, well, you probably remember, same old wall, you had to, so it ain't moving. It slowly falls off because the rocks fell down and then the dirt falls down. I mean, they were just sitting there with a little bit of mortar. But you know, he hasn't been here that long, so you can look on TV or in the newspaper clippings and you'll see that same old wall right there. There's still rocks laying on the sidewalk. So there you got it. But you know what? It's all laying clear across the sidewalk there. And anybody wanting to use the sidewalk, because the other sidewalk ends, just goes to the school, then gets to guardrail and ends. So the other side, that's the one that goes all the way up towards the city guy that does the stuff, and it ends at the side, that crosswalk thing. But that's the main sidewalk. So anybody going there, you have to, like me or Ricky or you gotta walk, you gotta step off that old high curb, which is probably obsolete now for the height. And if you're ADA or something, who's gonna pay the price for that? City?
The whole intersection's kind of weird.
Yeah.
When I go through there, I go on the school side and then I just go straight across to Bush's house and
Yeah.
take that sidewalk.
So, yeah, I mean, it's, you've actually got to, and then half the time, somebody's either parked across the side crosswalk, and like A Street, half the cars block the sidewalks, and the main park of the city of Toledo is right there. You can't walk down there, you have to step off the sidewalk all the time. But according to the police department, that's like a civil matter or something, because they don't deal with that. Even though you can step out their door and look clear down A Street and see all the cars blocking the sidewalk. But if I was going down through there with my wheelchair and I fell off and rolled over into traffic, well, then it's the city's fault. Because the vehicles are blocking the sidewalks and the
Which side of A Street are they blocking?
right-hand side, the only one at the sidewalk.
Because I go down there and I see people walking on the sidewalk. I'll have to
A Street,
go down some other time and see if I can see
I have
it.
several houses down that way, and people that walk, and I got grandkids that walk down there all the time to the
Yeah,
park.
sometimes they are.
And it's
Yep, the one truck next to
99%
the
of the
church,
time,
but they don't park there anymore. that I know of.
99% of the time, they
Yeah.
block the road there.
You talk about by the yellow house.
Crosswalk. What's that?
Yellow house, sounds like the yellow house.
there was, the Yellow House was pretty notorious for it with the pickup, because they built their fence, their gate was short. So, and then there was, two more down there by, the, meat, where the, used to be an old little store. But now it's, they sell meat and stuff. But then it was a smoke shop, and it was, all kinds of stuff. But, yeah. Anyhow,
Can I jump? And I think that those are all, I think accessibility to parks is a really key point that we can make sure to highlight in the plan, because there's, you can have really nice parks, but people need to be able to get to those parks.
like I said, Dustin, I can go on all night long about it. So yeah, it's important to have good access to the parks, safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. And that, I think, one thing I want to point out too is with this, what this planning document will set up, Justin touched on it a bit, was the capital improvement priorities in terms of like the short, mid, and long term. So the city, and then with public input, can prioritize those short-term actions that the city wants to take, and then the longer-term, bigger projects. But one of the really good things about the parks planning document and the state's parks grants is that they're a yearly grant. So every 2 years, that's probably something that the city could be applying for, or in some cases every year. So that can leverage some additional funding to bring in and point to those prioritized projects in the plan. And if accessibility comes out as a priority, I think that'll be key, where if a park improvement's made, then at the same time, some nearby sidewalks, crosswalks, could be made at the same time to make sure that access exists. But I think those are really good points that you're bringing up.
Okay, are we, done with?
Yeah,
with this?
that's all I had to add to it.
My only question is the master plan document, approximately how many pages is that at this point in time? The one that we look up online? Just out of curiosity.
It's about 65 pages.
Okay. Just trying to figure out how long it'd take me to read it. Okay, thank you.
How many pages?
65.
55.
65.
Yeah,
65.
add a few more minutes on there.
Good night reading.
Day reading for me.
So, thinking of the future, we've got that apartment. Is that apartment group out on Sturdivant still in place? It's gonna happen, or?
Well, let's,
That's
just a
a lot of
second,
people.
just a second, Ricky. Hold that question real quick, okay? Only because if we're done with the work session, are we, Justin, are we done with the work session? Is that everything that was gonna be presented?
Yeah, I'll just talk about next steps. Next steps involve just refining the draft that you're going to look up and then incorporating the feedback, goals and policies, recommendations into it. We're still building out like needs assessments and different implementations and capital improvements. So finalizing level of service analysis and then maps. So we're at compilation phase just for updates, and yep. We're looking at a few months ahead before we have a draft ready for public review and then adoption. So yeah, just providing updates on where we're at and what the future is looking like from here.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, then, so we can move from now the work session to discussion items. And I was thinking, is that where Ricky could ask his question?
The reason why I was thinking
Updates and
about that
reports?
was
Yeah,
absolutely no sidewalks that would service that bigger group of people moving in.
they're putting in sidewalks there though, right?
Down Sturman,
Where the low-income housing's going?
well, out towards the old publishers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, didn't they say they're putting in a
I was,
sidewalk?
I was under the understanding that they were putting in sidewalks.
To 10th Street or something like that, I thought, something between that and 10th, that had been the problem, was my understanding. But
So I can jump in. So that Sturtevant there is a county road. So we were working directly with the county's standards and requirements there. So there will be some slight road improvements there for the around the guardrail around that curve at that location. But for sidewalks, the county, per their standards, does not require sidewalks. The long-term goal, I think, would be that you have a continuous sidewalk from 10th Street all the way even past that the housing development that's ongoing. But there are definitely right-of-way challenges there. And I think we would have to work with Public Works, but the east side of the street in terms of a continuous connection might be the better option, just because on the west side, you would have to add fill on the slough side, which would be a challenge. So they're really there's the sidewalks up towards the school, and then right across the street, there's a little section of sidewalk that's kind of elevated. But those currently on Sturtevant, those are really only the sidewalks available.
I was thinking if we do the 10-minute rule, is there any way to get to a park from that section?
Yes, there is.
There's the park right there, just have to go
Yeah.
across.
Mhm.
It's 10th, isn't it, that crosses?
I think
across?
so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, there's actually that little forest park too, it's like
Yeah.
a trail.
yeah.
And that's right there too, right?
Sure,
By
yeah,
River Road kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, by River Road?
yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
really-
And-
Yeah, out, if you go where
Yeah.
Beaver's place.
And we're gonna have some more money for that. I'm on the county road board and, actually the chairman of the county road board. And we're supposed to have some more money because, Uncle Trump got us some more money with the timber dollars and stuff, but see, the timber dollars are supposed to go for the schools and the roads. For the county. So, and I'm sure there's a lot of people with hands out, but they're supposed to be for the roads and the schools. Same with our lottery dollars. We're supposed to be for the schools and our state roads, nothing else. But now look what happened to our lottery dollars when we voted in the lottery, 85. What do we get? Probably, a 16 probably goes to the road and probably 0.05 goes to schools. Everything else goes to goodness knows what. I know it's never supposed to be tapped into anything, but here we are. But we've got money coming, so that I'll try to see about getting sidewalk.
Let's hope there's as many chickens hatched as we hope there will be.
Yes. So I think we're slated for 3.6 million or something.
Oh, nice,
So
nice.
Sidewalks all over.
Yeah. But, we're
Sidewalks
just gonna be
everywhere.
playing, the money's, if what we can get for the road department is gonna be well spent for just catch up on what's already,
Yeah, sure,
that money's gonna go into holes already in the road, so,
yeah,
and then, but schools need it just as bad,
well, yeah,
so,
yeah.
I mean, I wish I could have a say in where it goes for the schools. I don't. But yeah, so I mean, there will be some monies.
Good.
And I think that between the schools, the parks and the roads, that falls right in place between both of them.
Well, and that park out there in Quinta View may become much more popular once they get that apartment complex.
Yeah.
Because there's gonna be quite a few people in there.
Yeah.
So that might be more popular.
So, yeah, that is good.
Thank you.
It's good to bring up.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, no, that's good to bring up. Justin, normally you talk to in the updates and reports. Do you have anything that you want to add in there?
I think at a future meeting, I was working with Public Works to address a couple of the questions that came up on the quick build traffic ordinance, the traffic calming ordinance that we've been working on. And I got some responses from Public Works, but I wanted to focus on the parks plan today. So we'll be kind of bringing those back, just clarifying a couple items, but we're pretty much still ready to go with some public outreach. So we'll be working on a blurb to go out to the public for the traffic calming ordinance here, probably late this month or early June here, and working on just having a web page on the website. And then we'll continue bringing back as needed the parks plan to the planning commission as well. And what was I going to say? There's a chance we cancel the July meeting if there's no public hearings that need to be addressed, because that meeting falls after the July 4th weekend, and I know some of you may be out of town, so that there's a chance that meeting gets canceled. But that's all I had.
I had a couple things just to maybe ask about and have you update. I know that we had asked you before when they were doing some land clearing or whatever there at the family home video. And at that time you had said there had been no permits other than the land moving or whatever permits. I know now they're working on the building. Do you know what the plan is for that now?
Yeah, so the permits that we have right now are the excavation, fill, and then a retaining wall permit for the back there, and then a demolition permit for the I'll call it the back half, but it's not half of the building, but the back portion
Were these
of the building. They're removing a portion of that, and they have a demolition permit for that. And they had an asbestos survey done on the full building, but they're only removing that back portion. But to I guess answer the last question, we currently have not received a site plan or plan for the building itself yet. That's all we've received so far.
Oh, okay.
Unless Arlene got something in today or this week that I haven't seen, but that's the updates I have for there.
Oh, okay. Okay, and then just the other thing, are the bathrooms on Memorial Field, are they finished yet?
I know they're under construction. Arlene, do you have
I don't have
a
an
better
update. I
update?
think they're still working on it. I don't know when the opening date would be.
Wonder if that's why the Thursday market's down, not at the end, I forget what building they said it was in before it goes down to Memorial Field.
Oh, it's not going right down to Memorial Field?
My understanding is it's open, and for the first couple of weeks there.
Former Mary Harrison School.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, that,
Yeah,
During May.
during May.
Oh.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
probably because who knows,
I was
yeah,
wondering about that.
Yeah, maybe,
yeah.
yeah. Maybe that, they'll expect the bathrooms done by then.
I had a question for you, Justin. What's going on with our new police station? Is that changed now? I see it's all painted the ugly blue, but there's nothing happening now. Did I
Yeah,
miss something?
so I am not the lead on that project, so I couldn't speak to any recent updates. We could ask the city manager to provide an update at the next planning commission meeting.
Okay,
On the police station, because I unfortunately am not. I know. I will say, I'll jump back. I think city council has discussed it a couple times in some of their meetings, but those are led by Rich, the city manager. So we could ask for an update if you'd like.
so we're like 2 or 3 city managers back that wound up with it, right? Something like that? 4, yeah. That
Yeah,
nobody
there's
wanted
been
in the first place, so.
He'll know.
Voters and
Hubner will tell you.
yeah,
Yeah. He should know,
okay.
yeah.
All right.
probably.
I was just curious, I just, cause I know I'd missed some time with my health and I may be missing some more time.
So the thing I know is that there was a grant from the state that they were trying to get, but they didn't get it. And so they're refining how they're gonna ask for it to see if they can get the grant next year.
Yeah,
And that's for the inside, then, right?
5.6 million, yeah.
Because they had the
To finish the
grant for the
inside.
outside, is
Yeah, it's
how
all,
they
yeah.
did the outside, but they need the
Yeah.
inside.
As far as I know, the 5.6 million they're asking from the state is to finish it, so.
And there was some sort of wording, the impression I got, it was, the way it was worded was just a little, they had to tweak it that way for
really?
the grant.
So they're working with Goldberg to figure out exactly how to get it, so.
Yeah.
Maybe next year.
5.6, really?
That'd be awesome if they could do
Is that
that.
gonna be like the state capital of Toledo?
Yeah,
5.6. I remember that lot was for sale for 30,000. I helped a guy that used to sell cars out of that lot, but there was just bare ground, it's gravel. He could have bought it for 30,000 at that time. And in the bank, and it was,
and you don't wanna know how much Toledo's put into it.
No,
Oh, I-
hopefully not.
yeah, I don't wanna know. I know the voters voted it down. I know that. And then the city manager bought it anyways, so I do know that.
That was
So
a long time ago.
we should have info pay for it.
Okay, well, we'll move on now to staff comments. Lest we exhausted all of that.
Oh, we can
No,
go on,
that's-
we can dig around in the dust and come up with something.
Yeah.
I could always come up with
Yeah.
something.
No staff comments?
Well, if you guys have noticed, the format on your agenda looks a little bit different, so we're working on our new software program through the webpage, so we're still working out the bugs, but you'll see a new format, and then the meeting agenda page is a little bit different, so you'll
Yeah,
be able to pull the packet and view the video directly from the webpage too, so. And I don't know if you guys received 2 email alerts for the packet being released. I'm trying to figure out how to just do the one announcement. So we're trying to streamline it, but,
I religiously check my email every 3 to 4 days.
okay. So sometime in that 3-day period, I'll get those emails to you.
Well, the agenda looks nice, though,
Yeah, it does.
and it's got a nice look.
It's neat.
And I might be missing some more time, but I do try to do the thing on my phone where I can be online.
Oh, the Zoomy?
Yeah, but I don't know where I'm gonna be because I got these health things going on, so. I just don't know. I just don't know, how long or what, or
Okay,
I just don't know.
well, it's great if you can, join Zoom,
Yeah,
then you can.
yeah, so whether I can talk on it or not, or
At least you
what,
can
I'm
hear
trying, I'm not very good at the whole thing.
A few times I tried, and I
Yeah.
just listening
So
was
I'm like-
worth it. Even if you can't say
So that's
anything.
about all I can do, or unless my wife's right around or somebody, or grandchild.
Yeah.
So grandchild, I got it whipped,
Yeah.
so, but other than that, it's hitting this.
Okay, then I guess we'll move on to commissioner comments if there's any more commissioner comments.
The flowers are blooming.
On the baskets? Or
Well,
flowers in
it-
general?
Just in general,
I
yeah.
watched them put the baskets up the other day and I thought, oh yeah, these are gonna be so pretty.
Yeah, they are.
That always makes it look nice.
Yeah, I
I
We're
really
gonna try
like
and,
that.
try and see if we can monitor the water maybe a little bit better, so it's not dripping down.
Yeah,
I know
it's-
they're gonna look nice.
We either use it or lose it, that's the way water is.
Yeah.
It's gonna go one way or the other.
Yeah, but if you put a pot anyways, it's,
Yeah.
yeah.
The dogs will drink out of it, then that's okay.
Any other commissioner comments?
Nope.
Okay, well, if there's nothing else, then I will adjourn the meeting
Thank you, Justice.
at whatever time it is.
Thank you, Justins.